Latest NBC News poll showing a deadlocked race between Vice President Harris and former now before the election. Joining us right now is Tobin Marcus. He's the head of policy and politics at Wolfe Research. We've got a number of new polls in over the weekend, Tobin, and I'm curious whether you think you can divine anything from them that gets you any closer to knowing who the victor will be.
Well, certainly, I think we're not close to knowing who the winner is going to be. Look, the betting markets have swung back towards Trump fairly significantly in the past week and a half. The polls, I think, have shown a much more muted movement. But one way or another, they're both pointing towards a toss-up race, whether it's 55-45 in one direction or the other. From an investor perspective, the key is we're nowhere near the level of certainty that's going to lead most investors to want to make big directional bets on the outcome of the race before we actually get to Election Day. So, I think we're firmly still in scenario planning mode. That is certainly the way that the clients that I'm speaking to on a day in, day out basis are thinking about the election. Sort of what are the major policy levers that we're looking at in either Trump or Harris win, and what's that going to mean for markets?
Are you of the view that we should be focused more on the betting markets as a signal in terms of where this election may be headed? Are you of the view that we should be looking at the polls? Are you looking at specific polls? Are you of the view that the polls are wrong, or that they undercount either former President Trump or perhaps Harris in some way?
So, we look at a wide variety of data sources, certainly try and take in, every available indicator about where the election's going. I tend to follow the polling-based models the most closely, the kind of probabilistic forecast based on polling. I think that's what has the best historical track record. The betting markets are a great indicator of consensus. They're a great way of figuring out how people with money on the line are assimilating changes in the state of the race on a real-time basis. But certainly in 2022, the last election that we went through, the betting markets bit fairly hard on the red wave narrative at the time that was never really supported by the polls and never panned out. So they're certainly not unerring. I think they're an important input. Again, it's sort of a good thing to watch, but not a unique claim on truth. And then from a polling error perspective, to your question about whether or not we should take the polls at face value or kind of tack on some adjustment for Trump being underestimated, my priors have always been that we should treat polling error as symmetrically distributed, take the polling largely at face value. Obviously, it is a possibility that we have a big polling error in Trump's favor, also a possibility that we have a polling error in the other direction. But historically, there has not been really any connection between polling error in one cycle and the next. I don't think we have enough of a statistical track record based on the relatively limited number of modern elections we've had to confidently say. Do
this for me. Run a simulation in front of us right now with Trump winning and with Biden winning and your clients calling you the next morning, assuming we know the outcome, by the way,
right.
And how you would therefore be advising them as it relates to investing on November 5th.
Yeah. So look, if Trump wins, I think it's probably coming with a red sweep. So anything that Republicans put their mind to, they can do. Sectorally, I think the clear winners there are first and foremost financials. Traditional energy, I think, probably wins in the early going, but not necessarily over the course of the entire Trump administration. Crypto, parts of managed care. And then from a macro perspective, I think we're probably looking at steeper yield curve, stronger dollar, and a lot of concerns about what his tariff agenda in particular looks like as we get into late 25 and early 26. If Harris wins, in all likelihood, we're looking at divided government with Republicans winning the Senate. So there, we'll need bipartisan fiscal deals next year. The sectoral winners really, I think, are kind of the mirror image of Trump, just because you won't get the positive Trump trades in those sectors. I think clean energy looks a lot safer because you're taking off the risk of IRA rollback if you don't have unified Republican control, and more of a status quo outlook from a macro perspective.
Okay, let me throw something else into your simulation. Do you believe that in the month of November, or I don't know, you tell me the date, that you will know who the next president is, and that there will be all calm on the Western Front, if you will?
Well, I wouldn't say all calm, but I do think that we'll know the winner, not necessarily on election night, but probably that week. The House will probably have, well, at least might have a longer timeline because it does look very close. And some of the key House races will take weeks potentially to count out west and in the Southwest. So we may not know the sort of full configuration of power in Washington for a while. But, presidentially, I think it'll probably take a couple days to count the votes in some of these states, to start tabulating early vote late, or let mail ballots come in for a long time. And then, our thinking coming out of the past two cycles is courts have been, I think, pretty reliable at quashing frivolous election challenges. So I do think that the person who wins will be the actual winner. Certainly it'll be a contentious period. We'll see some litigation. We'll see some kind of claims about alleged election irregularities. I feel fairly confident, but I don't think they're going to actually change the outcome.